people are here. It's a good environment.
We want to set up here today to kind of showcase the community.
Are you trading up just because you want to have that high-end card to sell, or you just want to hold it just to have it?
But is it processing or are we
Gambling.
Is it gambling?
I took the perspective of I need to get to know more people and like have conversations with.
Is this one of those things like, oh, you want to make this deal? I'll put you on my video. Like, nah, I'm okay.
Y'all ready for Dr. Strange? Just a question. Are you ready, bro?
See, and then he had it signed by him.
No, when they cut Darth Maul in half, I literally yelled out. No!
If I would have known BGS has more value long-term wise, I think I would have went that route.
But do you have certain cards that you know you're going to hold on to?
Yeah, FD, man. I'm in it for the long term.
Hey, what's up, y'all? 6 o'clock p.m. We have a great... JD will be here in a second. We have a great show coming up, the Burbank Card Show. I want to have Jay on to walk us through everything dealing with the show. JD and I are going to ask some great questions. Jump in the chat if you have questions as well. Let's find out more about this show. Let me bring in Jay, Burbank Card Show, Premier Card Show. What's up, Jay? What's going on? Can you hear me? Your sound is tweaking. Your sound was just good before, but your sound's kind of tweaking. How we doing? Well, while Jay is working on that, I'm just going to let you know. Detroit's up 14-10 versus the Rams. Should be interesting. Dallas just got beat by the Packers today. These NFL playoffs, a lot of parity is showing a lot of excitement as the games go. So we'll see how this goes. There you go, Jay.
I think I'm back.
Good to have you here, sir. How have you been?
Good. Hope everything's well with you. Good evening to everybody.
Good evening. Now, before JD gets here, let's kick this off by we know the Burbank Car Show is coming up. Tell us about the location it's going to be in. We'll start there, and maybe some information you have about the location.
Yeah, so we'll be in Ontario Convention Center, February 15 to 18, 2024. Take note, Ontario Convention Center, California, not Canada.
That's right. Especially if you're flying to the right place.
Yeah, I spoke to Jeff Wilson during Anaheim, and he said he was booking a trip, and he was wondering why the plane ticket was so much, and he selected Canada instead of California. So we don't want that happening to anybody.
That's right.
So we'll be back with this is our second time in Ontario. Looking forward to the venue. Much efficient venue in terms of doing logistics, and now we have the whole building. Last time we only had a part of the building. Now we have the whole building.
How many total square feet are we talking about?
Usable space for the show itself, somewhere between 90 to 100,000 square feet. We're not going to utilize a lot of the hallway between the two rooms. They're both in one floor. So we took over the extended room on the first floor where the gymnastics event was being held the last time. That's about 20,000 square feet. The main floor is about 70,000 square feet, adjoined by the hallway. So that makes a total of 100,000 square feet.
Wow.
Plus the second floor for the breakout stuff.
Very impressive. So let's dive into, are there any things, if someone has been to each Burbank show, is there anything coming in this show that is brand new, groundbreaking, something that will get people more excited than knowing that the Burbank Car Show is coming? Something in addition to.
So the first thing is Fanatics Events is going to launch their first event at the show. They'll be hosting a bar for Thursday night. So this is for vendors, press, media, staff, and VIP attendees.
Okay.
So if you're a VIP ticket holder, you can get to the event. They'll be buying people drinks. They do want to have conversations with people. So they'll be set up right smack in the middle front, to be able to talk to our patrons and our attendees and to our vendors.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. Second, if you are a VIP attendee or 3-day pass holder, I can't give you the exact details, but we do have a special gift that will serve as a souvenir for the show. Then for the first time, this is our fourth show. So for the first time, we do have Very Swap hosting a bar until supplies last for trade night for Friday. And we do have Arena Club hosting a bar for Saturday night trade night while supply lasts. We kind of did something different with the kids event. So we are calling it Cardathon. It's going to be for Saturday. We have 2 sessions from 12 to 1, and one is 1 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And this time around, it's going to be hosted by Jay Mojo.
Very nice.
So he'll be part of the show this time. There are other things that are going on that are special. Beckett is back with their on-site grading. They're bringing back the machines.
Oh, they're going to be on site?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Then Tag is going to be on-site grading too, but they have they have 3 booths for Tag this time around. So one of them is part of the special souvenir thing.
Okay.
So again, I can't give the details to that because you just have to take the gamble of getting a VIP ticket or a 3-day pass to know what that's about.
I'm gonna show the same excitement on Tag. Tag is ready. Yeah. All right.
Of course, we have PSA there. We have Golden. We have SGC. We have Arena Club. We have PWCC. We have COMC Zion. We have Alt. We have Check Out by Cards, Ship by Cards. We have eBay. eBay's having a bigger presence at the show. We have Heritage Auctions. We have a company called Cordova. They're like an auction house for Japan.
Okay.
So we do have a little bit more international presence again with vendors and corporate.
Okay.
And I'm still working on a few last-minute deals with certain sponsors and corporate vendors. So look forward to having them all. We did sell out of the corporate space more than a month ago. So that was a good thing. They're all coming in. They're all bringing in, with fresh budgets coming in strong. So I look forward to, having more activations and experiences with this companies.
How many total tables?
Right short of 600. Yeah, we have good spacing, so I didn't want to force the issue. So we have about 600, slightly shorter than 600 tables, all in all. The map should be out about a week before the show.
And of those 600, how many are dedicated to TCG for those out there who are looking for that?
It's all mixed together now. We're not doing the segmented,
Areas. Okay.
areas because we want to get everybody an equal touch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all, everybody's all mixed together.
All right. I know, JD, you looking very New Yorkish right now.
No,
with the beanie on.
I know, man.
What's going on right now, bro?
I'm still cold, but it's cool.
What was the temps out in New York City? What was going on out there?
40s, low 40s, high 30s, but wind. It was raining, but it was cool. Enjoyed it. It was different, totally different. But
I heard from some of my people it was like a -6 this morning in Chicago. So I know that
I can't do that.
Across the nation. But go ahead, JD. I know you have some powerful questions you want to jump in on.
I don't even know where you guys even started at. How did
Jay first started talking about. Jay, take him back through And I know we got some people that have joined. Take them back through what you were saying about Fanatics.
Well, Fanatics hosting the bar. They're hosting a
okay.
bar for VIP night. 5 to 9 Thursday. So they want to have some conversations with vendors. Attendees for VIP staff. Is their first show to launch their events division. So that's something new that we're bringing to the show. It took a while to get all the details of that situated, but it's finally there. It's finally happening. Just to address one comment we had in one of our posts in Instagram, VIP night is not really a selling event. VIP night is created for dealers to be able to set up and kind of not being rushed for the actual show dates, which is Friday to Sunday. Now, of course, if dealers want to sell a VIP night, that's totally fine. A lot of the dealers look forward to coming into Thursday night because they want to get a first look at what's on the floor, what the inventory is, and so on and so forth. Plus, some of these grading companies will be accepting submissions from dealers that night. So that basically is a night for them to be able to pull away from their table and do what other things they need to do. So I've heard, I've read some comments saying, it's an additional expense. Again, it's an optional night for most people. Most dealers want to be there Thursday night so that they don't get rushed. And that's also where you see attendees buying off tables on the first night.
Mm-hmm.
I think last show 3 tables got bought out on the first night in Anaheim. And not because somebody comes into VIP night and just looks at your inventory. That doesn't mean they're not going to come back tomorrow. They're probably setting up the stage for themselves, where to go, what to buy.
Well, that's weird. I didn't think anybody would think about it say it like that. I still think VIP night is like the best time to go, like you said. You get a head start on like everything. All the vendors that are gonna set up, you get a head start and see exactly what the feels like for the whole weekend, exactly what everybody's showing and what they're gonna have. So I think if you don't get, I still think VIP is like the best thing ever. Well, before you guys called it day 0, and I thought that was like a good idea too. I mean, just an extra day to get ahead at start of everybody. Like this gives you a lot of options throughout the whole weekend.
And it's a no-brainer to get the VIP ticket this time around.
So I mean,
I capped it at 500 attendees for ticket holders. So VIP night used to be $150. I told Rob, you know what? Let's drop it to $100. So $100 gets you in Thursday for 4 hours, gets you in Friday, Saturday, Sunday with an 1 hour early entry. You get a separate entrance to the main rooms after security check, and you get a souvenir.
Did you announce it yet or not yet?
I cannot announce the souvenir thing until they just have to find out the day itself.
Oh, dang. Well, you kind of gave.
I'm taking a day off work. I will be there.
You kind of gave like a sneak peek into. I looked at the prices, and then if you guys look at the VIP, the description on the bottom, I don't know. If you guys are local, I
That's
think
all we can say. If you read the description for VIP,
I think it'd be pretty cool. Like if you guys are able to do it, I think you honestly like because we talked like what the last show you guys had. You feel like a VIP walking around with what they're gonna show this show because you're like I said, it's like you only have 500 people that got tickets so far or whatnot. You're gonna be out of only 500 people with that special VIP stuff that they're gonna give you, and it's gonna be pretty cool walking around. And I think that's like gonna change everything because people are gonna be like, "Dang, where'd you get that? How'd you get that?" The questions are just gonna start going, and then the next show, who knows? People might even start go to VIP.
I'm just telling everybody, don't sleep on those 500 tickets because I think we're almost half sold there. We sold 473 in Anaheim, and that was $150. Now I dropped it to 100, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna sell out.
I'm telling you right now, if I were you guys, I would jump on that. Like that, I'm just knowing what I know that you guys don't know yet. Is like the experience just gets better and better each show, and that's what I want to like go on to now. It's like this is what the 4th one, right? Number 4,
show number 4.
So you guys feel like you guys are like kind of everything, you guys, everything's flowing a lot better this time around, or still some
Um,
challenges?
there's always going to be some challenges. I had to uh, kind of tweet a few things. Most of the people know that we did lose one of our partners. One of our partners
Mhm.
decided to look at brighter opportunities out there. We still talk every week. I wish him the best. He's gonna make his announcement soon where he's going.
Mm.
You know, he'll be at the show. I sponsored his table, so he'll be at the show. But between that transition to here, I had to, make sure the staff is more involved. We have Donald, show locator, doing part of the business relations side for the company. I had to have Ken step up and do a little bit more social media.
Hmm.
Then we have George from the card shop do a lot of the tech for us. Sally is doing all of the books and accounting and invoicing and stuff like that. And Rob is doing Rob.
Okay.
You know, he's the face. So yeah, it took maybe 3, 4 people to get one person kind of covered, but we're good. We're good.
You guys got experience anyway. I mean, what, 3 shows in, you guys already have an idea exactly what's happening. This is the second time you guys come in Ontario, so it's a little bit more familiar with everything, right? This whatever how everything was set up before with like all the um I guess the what's the word I'm looking for? Limitate not limitations, but like the rules and regulations that Ontario has versus what Anaheim had, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, like EJ said in the previous shows, we are gonna make our mistakes,
yeah,
but we also learned from our mistakes before, and we're trying to make sure those mistakes don't happen again.
yeah. I cannot wait.
So, and the only teacher here is learning from what you did wrong, what you see that's being done right elsewhere, implementing that, and so on and so forth. So you have to have a lot of patience, especially if you're trying to up the game every single time. There are going to be some challenges.
So
So what
Jay,
did
let
you?
me ask you.
Oh,
I know last time the last show, there were some individuals that came in for those people looking for autographs, that
Mhm.
signed autographs during certain days of the show. Can you speak to what's going on with that, or what are the updates?
So for Ontario, for now, we're not doing any signers. There may be some athletes who's going to be walking the show.
Okay.
Um, they're on a non-committal basis right now. There might be at least two who's going to be at the show at a certain point. We don't want to dive into something we are not even close to being experts on or even familiar with.
Understood.
A different company did the autograph signing. Um, they sold out with all the tickets. The thing is, it wasn't as fluid as you want it to be because people didn't know which line to go
oh
entering
yeah.
because some of them didn't intend to go to the show. They just intended to go to do signing. Ontario is actually a better place to do that because we have other rooms in Ontario that they can use for that. But for now, with the transition and the changes that we have done, we'd rather just make sure we execute the show portion first than try to kind of dingle with that in the future.
Understood.
That makes sense. So did you is everything out yet, or you still have to or like all the sponsors that you were talking about prior hand, is it ready to be announced, or you're still working on the big ones?
About 90% of our corporate sponsors and partners are already posted on our website and our IG. Um, there's about maybe 10% remaining that we haven't announced yet. Some of the corporate that we posted though haven't announced what they're doing at the show. So
Mm,
what people have to understand, if you ask comments, is this company grading on site? Is this company bringing in people from a different division, stuff like that? That's not in our control.
mm,
These activations are done by these companies. If they want us to advertise in advance, we will advertise for them in advance through email, through social media, stuff like that. But we are not the spokespeople for these companies.
mm.
If they decide to do courier service, if they decide to do on-site grading, the only permissions I've gotten for on-site grading is to announce that Beckett and Tag are on-site grading. You have to go to their website to see their prices. Other grading companies, some of them I already looked. They have their activations already on their website. That may change, that may not change, but I can't speak for those. All I know is they're there. Uh, they're already committed, and what they plan to do is going to be totally up to them. Now, for the event side that we're doing, that I already know. I already know we have our bar for fanatics for Thursday night. I already know we have a trade night sponsored by Veriswap for Friday, and they're hosting a bar while supplies last for that one. We can't go crazy and get drunk, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Arena Club is doing Saturday night. Same thing, bar. We have DJ Spins doing both trade nights. Then we have Mojo, J Mojo doing the kids event for Saturday. It's going to be a two 1 hour events for two different batches of kids, 150 kids for each hour on Saturday. So if you are a parent and you have a kid 12 or younger that wants to participate in the workshop, you have to go to the website. On the website, there should be a link there for Cardathon. You have to enroll your kid to get the slot of your choice, whether it's 12 to 1 or 1 to 2. You have to be there 30 minutes early to get in. These tickets you have to buy separate from the kids' admission tickets. Both kids' admission and the Cardathon ticket are free as long as they're accompanied by a ticketed adult. If you have two kids, only one ticketed adult is needed for them to get into the convention center because they have to be supervised.
Okay.
Now, if you're buying a VIP ticket and you're an adult and you have a kid's free ticket with you, that kid automatically gets the early bird access as the adult ticket. If the adult ticket has early access, so the only thing that has early access is the VIP, the 3 day with early bird, and the GA with early bird. So if you have your kid with you, you don't have to pay for early bird for the kid. They automatically go in with you.
Okay.
Interesting.
So it's nice to be a kid.
I
don't
know
have to pay.
before we've talked about how far vendors are coming, how far away they're coming to the show. But you speak to the
Australia,
you go.
Japan, Canada, Germany, Philippines,
Oh.
China. Did I say Germany already?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think a couple. I think somebody from Korea and other parts of Southeast Asia.
Oh, wow.
As far as we know, there's a big group of dealers from Europe who's bringing a lot of soccer.
Very nice.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not, the show yesterday here locally, I set up. I was selling soccer all day
Really?
on the local show.
Yeah, saw that.
Interesting. Speaking of that, so where do you think the hobby is from this time on, from the Ontario one? Is there like can you tell like there's a temperature going, like it's shifting towards the good way, or it's still floating in the middle right now from your perspective?
We're expecting traffic to be higher. Number one, because the last Ontario show was Super Bowl weekend. So Sunday traffic was slower than a typical Burbank show. So we expect Saturday, Sunday to be stronger. We also expect traffic to be stronger just because cards are more affordable now. So there's going to be more buying power, and a lot of buyers are buying higher now because of free packs and stuff like that. So I think the ecosystem inside a card show of this scale is going to be to the liking of many, not all, but of many. If vendors will price their cards correctly, if the vendors are willing to work with the buyers, if the buyers are willing to spend a little bit more to get a certain card for their PC, I think it's going to be a very, very successful event because everybody just wants to move cards and have fun with cards.
I can't wait then. Man, what else? What else did I want to ask you? What else? What else? Let me think. Let me look at my notes. You got anything for him?
Jay, what about you? So you're at the table, or you know, there's probably gonna be some cards that you're gonna have brought to the show to be sold. I'm just giving what's your perspective as a vendor that has set up the mini shows. What do you think vendors are going to be looking to bring to move?
Well, again, it depends on which vendor you're talking to. If it's a vendor from Canada, it's an opportunity to sell hockey cards, probably. If it's a vendor from Europe, it's probably opportunity for you to unload some of your soccer cards. And vendors are probably going to be looking to unload a lot of Lakers stuff, a lot of Clipper stuff, a lot of Rams, a lot of Dodgers, a lot of
Tanya being the
Angels and stuff like that. Otani probably is going to be a big seller at the show.
Oh yeah. So if you're listening to this, I'm hearing there's going to be a vast amount of stuff that is available. Come with an open mind, look around, talk to people, say hello, introduce yourself, and see what's out there for sale. Probably something that fits your PC, something you like.
And remember, there are certain states out there that are so hyped with their sports teams. If you're a Steelers fan and you're a vendor, you're going to look for Steelers stuff to bring home. Right? So that's always been the strategy of a lot of the dealers, especially the ones who are traveling. For the people coming from overseas, they want to bring cards overseas that, it's hard to get over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be buying those stuff too. And guess what? There's stuff overseas that you don't see in the United States because it's been with the collector for a long time. Those might appear at the show too.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that one. I agree. Is Burbank gonna do their usual? Gonna be, I guess, buying people out at the show like they've been doing the past shows.
So I believe Rob told me they're going to have 4 buyers at the show.
Oh.
In terms of their setup, they're probably going to focus more on the $1 to $5, $10 cards and slabs and stuff like that for selling. Not too much of the quarter cards because it takes a long time to sort all of those.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be anchoring the extended room with PSA.
Okay.
So one thing that's going to happen, just to make sure there's a balance of flow, all VIP, all 3-day pass holders, all early bird are going to go through the extended room first, which connects to the main room, and all GA is going to go through the main room. That way there's an even flow. Plus, VIP and 3-day pass really need to go to the secondary room first because they need to get their souvenir first. Because that's where the souvenir booth will be.
And that's from the sponsors is giving stuff away, right? That's what the
so for 3-day pass, it's Tag giving away something with the 3-day pass. For the VIP, we're using the same booth as Tag to be able to get your souvenir on that side.
Are they still gonna do like that setup they did like in Anaheim, that basketball court, or they're just gonna
Michael wanted to do that. I told him let's try this other idea first that that everybody else don't know yet.
Hey, I'm not even asking. Just so people know out there, I don't know, and I'm not even asking. I just want to be surprised.
What? So can you speak about like the event, like the sponsors that you guys have? Like, are they doing anything special that weekend besides with Tag and them, or like Fanatics or
So I will only speak to the ones I'm already authorized to do so. Beckett is grading on site, and they're bringing specials. What their specials are, you have to go to their website.
Okay.
But they are bringing in specials. So Beckett has personally told me that they want to make sure it's a successful show. They're not going to focus much on the aesthetic of their booth, but they are bringing the machines. They're more for the customer approach this time to be able to get them the cars they want graded. Okay. We know that Tag is gonna bring everything again. That's a given. They always bring everything they can to the show. I know COMC is doing a special. I know Arena Club is doing a special, and I know SGC is doing a special. You have to go to their websites to know what those are because I can't speak off them right now. Um, there are 5 auction houses who are going to be there. So all of them are bringing something different. eBay has told us that they're bringing a bigger setup
Mm.
this time around. Okay. PSA and Ultra Pro are sponsoring the kids' cardathon.
Mm.
So
Okay.
the workshop, the kids will be able to, number one, open packs. Number two, learn how to protect their cards. And number three, learn the value of grading and how to prep cards for grading. So I'm focusing more on the educational aspect of
Mm.
having the younger ones learn the business.
Mm.
That's where it's at. That's what's needed. Yeah.
So we have, in my opinion, we need the next generation to start taking over.
Mhm.
We have to pass the torch. So these kids need to, how many times have we heard somebody say, "I wish I didn't, use that Michael Jordan rookie card as
Yeah.
a sticker on my bicycle before,"
That's right.
Mm.
right? So we want to make sure that kids from the first pack they open, they know what to do.
Mm.
Wonderful
Not
work.
not necessarily the investment part, but at least they can go back years behind. How come nobody told me this,
Mhm.
Mm.
right?
Oh, yeah, that's good. Give them a head start instead of just doing whatever they want to do with it, and they find out years later that they had something valuable.
So it's a big task for J Mojo because this is his first kids workshop, you know,
Mm.
Oh, I
and
yeah, I see it
we
going
we
well. Jay, if
we have it geared for 300 kids. That's not easy, man.
no, it's not.
Yeah, it's 300 kids. Can you imagine just running around? That's why you guys did it. You guys split it down the middle each hour because there's no way you don't have 300 kids just paying attention, just listening like that for a whole hour. So that's
Well,
good
just,
that
just,
they
just to
split
give him
it
some
down.
background, he had a kids event at the last show, right?
Yeah, we always have something for the kids, but this time around we want it to be focused. We're trying to make sure everybody kind of expects what they're getting,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the ticketing side. So if you're a VIP, you need to know exactly what you're getting, the value of that.
Mm.
Until I get bigger in our sponsorship commitments, I think the value of each ticket needs to make sense. So we don't mind dropping the price of the VIP $50 down, just to make sure that everybody who wants to try it and wants to give it a chance and wants a better experience can, you know, get it at the value that is a no-brainer. So put it this way: a day ticket is $20. So 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, $60. That's without early bird. If you want early bird, you have to pay $10 per day of ticketing. So that's $90. And nobody else except for a VIP ticket can come in on Thursday night. So it's like paying $10 for the VIP night. Plus you get a souvenir. Plus, if you wanted to have a chat with fanatics, they buy you a drink. That's
Mm.
more than $100 value right there.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a steal. I think that's like more. I just think if you guys could do it, this isn't a no brainer for me. Like it's easy peasy. You just get in. I promise you, it's worth it. If you guys been to the last shows, then you guys already know what you guys are expecting. It's only getting better each show, so you guys can only imagine what they have up their sleeve this time coming around.
Plus, I made sure that concessions are going to be open the whole time,
Oh,
because that was one of the challenges last Ontario. We didn't know how much turnout will be, and we weren't ready for staffing all the concessions the whole day. There were lines, so now all concessions, including the cafe, will be open.
Very good.
and then I guess did you talk about the parking situation? Is it the same as last time? The
Parking is still
pricing?
$15, single entry. If you're at the host hotel, just pay the parking there. You can just walk to
Hmm.
the venue. If you're flying in and you're at the host hotel, which is DoubleTree, make sure you contact DoubleTree before flying in, because they do have a shuttle that goes from the airport to the hotel and back. So that's part of their service. Now, if you're local, maybe Uber will make more sense for you. If you're local, just to not get into the hassle of finding parking, but there is enough parking compared to Anaheim. Because remember, Anaheim, there's multiple events going on.
Yeah.
We have the whole building, so all the parking for Ontario is going to be dedicated to us.
Yeah, you weren't lying. That Saturday was the craziest parking situation I ever dealt with ever. So
Oh, you
that's,
mean the day that we parked in different places and got our way over there?
no, man, he gave us a warning because that Saturday was insane. What's
Yeah, Jay,
12
your word.
o'clock?
Rob on his lives for Anaheim was constantly telling people Uber, Uber, Uber.
Yeah, that's the best way.
You know,
Is
Ontario
yeah.
should be better in terms
Did
of
you guys
parking.
figure out moving forward after this is Anaheim, right? So is there still gonna be like a 2-year show, like a show every 6 months, or did you guys switch it up and like try to like
So we're already contracted for Anaheim from the 22nd to the 25th of August.
Mhm.
Right now, we decided only to take the upstairs. So there's going to be less tables because I need to include corporate there. So whatever number of tables you see in Ontario and the number of corporate you see in Ontario is probably about the same as Anaheim, or slightly more, just very slightly more. We are contracted for Ontario the week after Super Bowl for 25. And hopefully we can get contracted in Anaheim for 25 soon.
Oh, so you guys are okay. So it's going back to back. So you guys haven't decided. You guys plan just to stay in Ontario and Anaheim back and forth the next maybe 2 years, maybe. That's the plan.
I suggested Rob to position Anaheim on a different date if Anaheim will be available. So we will see. I will probably know maybe a month or two after Ontario to see if we can reposition Anaheim. The only thing with Anaheim, I really love ACC North because it's carpeted, well lighted.
Yeah.
The other halls are dark, damp, cement, which is not the ambiance of Burbank. Burbank has always been, known to have good lighting, good AC, you know, um, good ambiance. So being in a warehouse like how the National does it gives a different vibe.
It does.
And because of the pillars also, people don't understand when there's pillars, I have to situate the table separately. So it's got to be segregated. How we lay out our floor plan right now is everybody's against each other. And that creates a better vibe, in my opinion. When you see what the action going on the table on your left and going the table on your right. In a bigger setup like National, you'll see corporate and tables. So you don't know what's happening on the other side.
Good. Did you so this time around, did you want to add anything else that you wish you added, like the last Ontario show that you want to implement in this one, or is it still just right?
I wanted somebody to host and sponsor a barbecue.
Oh.
I'm still working on that, but at this point, I'm not hopeful.
Barbecue.
Because logistically, it's a bit of a challenge. There was one big company who wanted to participate for Ontario, but had to stall their plans for Anaheim because they haven't had the budget approved yet.
Interesting. That would have been cool. A barbecue in a car show. Would you have made it like a Saturday or like a Sunday afternoon type?
I wanted VIP night.
Oh, that would have been crazy. That would have been definitely a VIP for sure.
Take me back to some work events. I
don't mind doing VIP night and 2 trade nights with a barbecue.
That'd be great.
But that all relies on sponsorship money.
So this for sure now it's only 2 VIPs, 2 trade nights for the show, right? This time around.
Yeah, it's always been 2.
Okay. Ooh.
It's always been 2.
So Jay, I want to get this out here too. I know people are going to ask questions about internet and connectivity. What do you have to say about that?
I don't think we had anybody say that they had internet problems
Mm-hmm.
in Ontario, unless you're using a cell phone company provider that really has a bad reputation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the vendors, we do have backup internet that they can connect to in case something happens. If you are heavily dependent on internet, I suggest you get one of those prepaid mobile hotspots.
Mm-hmm.
It's only like $50, I think, for a day or a week. Then you can just basically turn it off after that. So I carry a prepaid mobile hotspot just in case also,
Mm.
because we have to have for POS systems and stuff like that.
Yeah, last time I didn't hear anybody saying anything. I heard nothing but positive things about connectivity. I just wanted you to be able to speak to that.
Yeah, we never had problems in all 3 venues with internet,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was Burbank, whether it's Ontario, whether it's Anaheim. We do purchase internet for the convention center, just the basic one, Wi-Fi, but that's mostly for the vendors.
And I cannot wait. Is this one how excited are you on this one? Since this one's like you said, it's a different team going in. Is this one more feels like the first time going around, or is this okay? Is this just another another Burbank show, or this one's feels a little bit different going in?
Well, I just wish we had a little bit more time because we're coming off the holidays.
Hmm.
So when you're organizing shows like this, there's dead time during the holidays. It's a little harder to get back and forth with companies and vendors. Plus, a lot of these companies, some of them are not finished doing their budgets yet for 24, in the process of creating the show. So time is always important in organizing because nobody can commit anything unless they know they can fund it.
True.
That's true. So that's just the biggest issue is just having, I guess, more time with everything, just trying to get everything settled and just more commitments on time so that way you're able to plan the show
It
ahead.
works both ways because
Yeah.
being earlier in the year, this company has more budget, right? Their budgets are fresh. That is if they can get their budgets out on time. So, but I do have some corporate sponsors already who, when they went on negotiation with us for Ontario, wanted a 2-show negotiation already. So some of them are already signed in for Anaheim.
That's what I was going to ask. Is that a part of the negotiation phase? Is like, we're having 2 shows here. You might as well just make it a 2-for-1. So that way it knocks out everything out of the way in the first time around. So that way there's no.
I don't offer it to them. I let them come to me and ask for that option. Because things can change. They can rebrand. They can have a different promotion by the time the next show comes in. Sometimes it's a soft commitment that we do. We customize everything based on our sponsor because I can't just tell the sponsor, hey, okay, for this amount of money, you get this. Because some of the things that we can provide, they might not need. And some of the things they need, we might not know of, but we can provide. So we have to customize it that way.
Dang, that's going to be cool.
I don't want to be the typical corporate company that, it's this way or bust. I have to help them grow their company too.
That's good. What else? What was I gonna ask you? But how do I say this? So this the moving forward is this gonna be the 2 and then after 2024, 2025 is already set in stone. So do
24 is for sure 2.
For 2. But is
25 it's at least 2.
Oh dang, so 26. But after
Rob
that
wants 3. I'm trying to stick to 2.
That's what I want to ask. Is it only going to be just 2 years and moving forward? Have you guys talked about moving to different locations from that yet, or that's still you guys are just taking it year by year, show by show?
We have to take it show by show, but we have to book a year in advance. The hard thing about doing convention center shows, you have to book a year in advance. So there's part of the gambling aspect there because you don't know what's going to happen in a year.
So Collector Drew is asking the question here. Anaheim, then Ontario. LA needs a show next. And I know last time we were on, we talked about, some people were talking about the LA Convention Center. Is there anything you want to say to that, Jay?
My number one concern of doing it in LA Convention Center is security. People walk around with thousands of dollars in their Zion boxes or backpacks and stuff like that. Though it's a big convention center, it's also not the safest place out there, especially for people out of state or out of the country coming in, not knowing, what place they should be in and what place they should not be in. So this is the number one concern. We're always concerned about security at shows. That's why for Ontario, I'm already going to apologize in advance. Yes, all of you have to go through a metal detector. There's no if and buts with that.
I love that. Personally, I love that.
If the demand tells us to go to LA Convention Center, and if LA Convention Center has a slot for us that makes sense, we're always willing to consider that. Going that big, you have to have enough vendors, enough corporate sponsorship, enough funds to go around logistically to make it done right. It's easy to say, let's do it in LA because everybody lives in LA. But at the same time, for the vendors traveling out of state, remember, we're not relying on local vendors only. We're relying from out of state and overseas vendors.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make sure it's still worth their while to travel. If I'm going to charge double the table fees, which is already high in California, would that be sustainable for the vendor? We ate up the cost for the labor so that vendors won't be hassled coming into the show in Anaheim. But that's a very big expense. That funding needs to come somewhere. That will affect the attendees. The ticket prices might go from $25 to $50. Are people still going to attend? There's a lot of rolling components out there that you have to consider because it's going to affect the result of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't understand is California, you have to pay for everything, including water.
Yeah.
In states like, I'll give you an example. In states that don't have a good flow of e-commerce and local commerce, some of these convention centers offer the venue for free just because you're bringing the business to the city. Because if you do a big convention in a city that's not Atlantic City, for example, the casinos are no longer there, so they're looking for revenue. So it could be they can give discounts for the price of the convention. They can give it for free as long as you book X number of hotels and stuff like that. So that makes it more logistically reasonable to run a show in certain states because the cost is lower. But then again, will FD or JD fly to that city just to do that show?
Mm-hmm.
There's the back end of that too.
Yeah.
So it can be done, but the result is always going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
At least one thing in California, like Rob would say, people will find other things to do in California to make the most out of the trip.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Especially February when it's cold everywhere. It's worth to go to California for a week.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Right?
I just got back from the East Coast. I wouldn't want to go back and do it. I would not want to go over there right now.
We still have a decent amount of rooms left for room blocks for DoubleTree. If you go to the website, it's $199 a night.
Oh, that's not bad.
I went to Nationals. I paid like $300 something a night.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, so you save on certain things, you spend on certain things. Of course, if you go to Anaheim, you spend on a lot of things.
Oh yeah, you got Disneyland, you got everything at Anaheim. So yeah, I can see that. So did you? So is there like a huge So it's going in the second time going around. So now there's like a huge. Can you tell the difference between Anaheim and Ontario in your point of view? Go just managing it so far, like the huge difference between the two of them.
Huge difference overall is that Ontario is more manageable
Hmm.
because I know what to expect. I've worked with the team already. This is the first time I'm going to work with the same team in terms of our partners in the convention center for the second time. The last three shows, I work with a different team with the convention center every single time because it's the first time on each building.
Hmm.
So it's easier when you have a relationship. That's number one. It gets a little difficult because now I have to do both front and back. With EJ not part of the ownership, I have to kind of wear a couple hats more. And EJ was already wearing multiple hats before. So it's all about delegation and so when we first started here, it was just me and Rob. When I saw the skill that we were going to do, I needed to bring in a third person. That's why I brought in EJ.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I'd rather have a focus on what I want to do to make it a better show. And I know EJ is capable of doing the front side. So that solved the problem. Even though at that time I know I can do everything, it's still better. It's still better if you can delegate, to X number of people. It makes the job easier. It makes the job be done faster.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I didn't have a lot of relationships with a good number of dealers because that was the purview of EJ at that time. He was the one in charge of the dealers. Donald comes in. He knows a good amount of them that help, but we still didn't know a good chunk of the dealers. So um, that was a little bit of a challenge because under new systems, I have to grow this company more corporate like moving forward. What that means is I would accommodate whatever is reasonable, but at the same time, I'm the type of person that I need to say no to certain things because everybody has to be on the same expectation when they come to a Burbank show. This is what I need to expect. So everybody needs to understand that, which is a little difficult, especially when there's relationships involved. It's a little harder to tell certain of these people no. So just a teaser, because I'm not as sociable as EJ or Rob. When I started handling a lot of the inquiries and information with attendees, with vendors and stuff like that, sometimes I'll get a message on my email or on Instagram saying, "Hey, I need this," whether it's a table, a ticket, or something like that. Then they'll send me a picture of them with Rob. And in my mind, what does the picture mean?
They got that insight, man. They got that.
No, I'm not. I don't know if I can. I'm not gonna lie. That when I was helping you guys the first day, they were coming up to me, and I was helping pass out the stuff, and they were just coming up to me. They showed me a picture of Rob and them and EJ, and I was just like, I don't know what you want me to do with that, so I just pushed it over there. I can't. Yeah, that's actually a real thing that happened. Was that they really?
And it's hard because you have to be polite, you have to be professional. You want to build a relationship with that person, but at the same time, they have to understand it's a business.
Oh,
it costs money to do a production like this.
they're like, yeah, we're on the Rob
So
list.
I dropped VIP ticket to $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
150. Somebody came up to me, "Hey, in Anaheim, I paid $100 because I got a discount from somebody." Well, I dropped the price to $100 now, and you get more.
That's so funny.
No,
That was actually a true story. They really said, "Yeah, we know so and so could give us a VIP." I was like,
You know,
"Oh,
some people believe if you ain't name dropping, what are you doing?
they definitely name dropped. They name dropped everybody that I
I
know."
don't know. I wash my hands of all of those connotations. As far as I'm concerned, cool. They have a picture with one of my partners. Good job.
Yeah, I did.
And it's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be 600 for a table. You know,
For the weekend, right? It's 600 for the weekend.
yeah,
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I feel.
six
I was,
hundred is a big number to a lot of people. But if they know how much it costs to run this, because some people will just go, oh, they have 600 tables at $600. That's $360,000, right? What they don't know, just the labor entailed is six figures already.
this
The
way.
rental for the venue is more than
Yeah.
six figures too. So that automatically cuts down everything to 2/3 already of the cost.
Yeah.
Then you have to pay for security, and police, and stuff like that. Nothing is cheap in California.
I always find it interesting that, you know, if anyone's ever ran an event, I've never ran an event at this size, but I've ran events before. You usually get the question whenever you run an event, are you going to run this in a bigger place? But then people they don't consider, okay, how much is that going to increase costs? And what else is going to go up or go down or go sideways? Can you speak to that, Jay? Because there's usually always a question about, and it's unorthodox for me to ask somebody, how much money are you making? But there's always a question that comes up about financials and also larger locations. I know you talked earlier about some of the things to consider, but put your J on that because you can say it way better than I can.
So even though we're trying to position ourselves as a corporate entity, at the end of the day, me and Rob, um, our goal is just not to make sure we don't lose money and we can do this and grow this. Whether we make 5% after all is said and done, whether we make 50%, whether we make 80%, as long as we can continue doing this, we will do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, profitability at the end of the day basically drives us more to do better. But there's always going to be unexpected costs that's going to come in. So coming into a show, we don't know exactly what the profits will be after taxes.
Oof.
Okay. Like one challenge that I encountered is that not everybody was on the system for Expo Genie.
What is
Because
that?
Expo Genie is the system that we use when we onboard dealers, that they have to go through an application and get approved and in their system. So any emails we send out, any communication we send out, it's done through that system, and how they pay their tables is done through that system. So
Oh,
and I was the first show we did we use Expo Genie. So some people are not that tech savvy, so we had to manually help them get their tables without having to register them. And the
okay.
sad part, and again, I'm going to apologize in advance to certain vendors. When we launched Ontario, because EG is no longer with us, we don't have the contact information of each and every single returning vendor that we have from the previous shows, because we don't have the data.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, a good amount of them approached us and told us, "Hey, how do we book a table?" And when we saw in our system their names weren't there, we were able to help them onboard inside. And we do have some group dealers that we call that. Well, they're represented by one person, and there's like 10 dealers, and they block a good amount of tables. That works when you're starting off, but moving forward, that system can't work. Why? Because if FD is booking a table with JD, and FD decides, you know what, I'm going to make my own company, I'm going to grow my own company, and the next show, because only JD is on the system, the email only goes to JD, hey, are you ready to book a table?
Mm-hmm.
If FD separated ties from JD, how is FD going to know that the tables are not available for returning dealers?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not in the system. And that was a hard thing to explain to a lot of people, who would, book together, and they would ask us, how come on the commitment post my logo is not there? Because only JD's logo was there because it's his application on the file. If
Mm,
I knew that FD was part of that group and he has his own application, then I can put FD's logo in the commitment.
that makes sense.
So people need to know that we use systems to make it more fluid, and it takes time to create the systems, and it takes a lot of cooperation from everybody, you know, to be in that system. A simple thing that you change your email, even though you're in the system, you're
Mhm.
not going to get the communication that we need because you change your email,
That's
Mm.
true.
right? So, and a lot of them will forget their password because they only do it twice a year, right? So it's tough. It's tough. But the thing is, at the end of the day, there has to be a system in place that moving forward, they know what to do moving forward to be able to get a table. We had to scratch the ability to pick your tables because that was a nightmare.
Oh, I imagine. I can only.
That was a nightmare.
Ooh.
Would you believe me? Every single dealer was asking me after 2 weeks we opened the tables, how come everything in the front is already sold out? Because
Oh.
you waited 2 weeks. And now,
Mhm.
4 weeks before the show, I'm still getting questions. How can I get to the front? We've already onboarded 90 to 92% of the dealers.
Yeah, I remember that one. They were asking if they could move closer to this person, and, and then I just saw EJ just his head was just like it's about to explode. It's just like
Yep.
you guys picked where you guys wanted to, you guys had the option now the day of. It's a problem. So I saw that part too. It was just like it
We're
was
still getting that
crazy.
right now. So somebody books two tables, right? And they
Mhm.
booked it a month and a half ago. The next thing we see is they book another table without notifying us. So now when we do our weekly inventory counts, hey, this person took another table, but there's nothing open where he's at no more.
Yeah, that
So we have to contact that vendor. Hey, this is what's going on. We can move you, but you're gonna lose your spot over there. You need to move over here. Are you okay with that?
I remember that one. Yep.
Logistics. Woo.
Yeah,
Logistics with this.
You know what Donald keeps on telling me?
What's that?
Jay, I don't know how you and EJ were able to pull this off the last three shows.
I was I was sitting there just for like 2-3 hours, and I was like, "Yo, this is like crazy." Because all these. I mean, I deal with that at work, but seeing at a different light is just like, wow, like you guys did so much with the amount of people you guys have was just like unbelievable. People left and right. Just that's like, oh, I'm so and so. This is where I'm supposed to be at, but I'm all the way over here. Da da da. Like, oh, why I don't have it? It was just so many questions that's coming. That VIP night was the first day was crazy because the check-in was just insane. So I can only imagine how everything's going right now too. So
Yeah. So there's a lot of systems in place, and again, we're gonna make our mistakes. The challenging thing always is vendor check-in because we don't know what time these vendors are gonna come in.
yeah, see, that was another thing.
So I just really need to make sure the vendors know the soonest you can come down to the convention center, at least to get your credentials.
Yeah, see, that was another thing. People were saying they were confused. They weren't sure if they could come in and like get their credentials or just set up. So it was like people were just going back and forth. So yeah, that was yeah.
So for the vendors who are watching, Wednesday is the first load-in day for corporate.
Oh,
We're
so
only on invite only or per request only for Wednesday. If you're already in town and you want to get your credentials, Donald and his team will be there to hand the credentials. However, that doesn't mean you can enter the showroom on Wednesday. So starting at 10 a.m., Donald and his team will be there on Wednesday to at least hand out the credentials until 5 o'clock. So 10 to 5. For Thursday, we're there as early as 8 o'clock. We are not going to open the floor until probably noon for you to fully set up, but will allow you to at least get your display cases in, and if you have shelves to build prior to that time. Now, come 3 o'clock, everybody needs to vacate the floor.
Mm.
So our goal is by 4 o'clock we can start having vendors come in again to start VIP night. The reason we need to empty the floor because people try to sneak in with a vendor,
Yeah.
and I would like to request from the vendors, don't let your friends just come in because there's a security issue involved. If this is somebody you're bringing in and they're not accustomed and they start walking the floor, they can easily grab somebody's merchandise while they're setting up. You don't want that to happen to you. So
Well,
we need to make sure we get everybody out for at least an hour and reset. That way, we make sure all of your items are protected. Then we can have fun.
I agree.
yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, that's perfect. That makes it sense. More, just be way more organized. Well, you guys, you know what I mean. It's just make everything flow a lot easier this time around.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will be a lot stricter. You know,
As you should, Jay. As you should.
we don't want to get shut down by the fire marshal. We don't want to have any theft issues. We don't want any accidents, and so on and so forth. And but at the same time, we will try to accommodate what we can. You know, like Anaheim, somebody had pallets and pallets of wax, right?
Hmm.
And he needed to leave the show earlier. So we will accommodate that. We'll figure out ways to accommodate that. But don't expect me to open the loading dock just because you came in 2 hours late. You
Mm,
know, so
makes sense. Well, yeah.
believe me, once Thursday VIP night opens up, that's the time I can rest.
All right. I look
Until
forward-
VIP night opens, I'm probably gonna be in a bad mood.
Well, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that you guys are gonna be going. You know what I mean? That's so much things that's gonna be going on. So I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, I remember that. What was it? What day was it? The day you three, it was you, Ken, and EJ just sitting there at the couch. You guys were just like you were ready to.
Oh, it was a lot. Yeah, I could imagine. That you all look exhausted.
And here's the thing: the last, at least for me and Rob, I can speak for myself and Rob. Rob and I are at the forefront when the show opens.
Mm-hmm.
No owner of any show does that.
Sure.
We're there in the mix. You know, I'm being the bad guy. He's being the good cop. You know, so it takes a lot. It takes a lot. You think it's Rob is just being Rob, you know, naturally, you know, trying to promote the show, but he is very much concerned that when we open the show, there should be no hitches. So in Anaheim, right, we didn't expect the line on Friday to be that long right away because we expected people to be still at work, and the line started from the convention center all the way to the hotel.
Jay, people are taking time off work, man.
Uh-huh.
People are looking at these dates.
So I was in the front. Anaheim police was beside me. Anaheim police whispers in my ear, "This line is too long. This couldn't happen. This is a security issue." Rob comes behind me. "Jay, what's going on?" I had 30 seconds to decide and to put up a game plan. I take a wand and told my security staff, "Let's do this. Go." For 2 hours, I was holding a wand, getting people in.
That's why you're Jay, man.
You know? And Rob was walking back and forth through that line, calming people down. "We will get you in. Please be patient. We will get you in."
When I showed up, he was in that line talking to you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know,
That was the Friday. Where was it? Oh, there. Yeah. That's a long time. Man. Now, what about but Saturday was long too, right? That day.
Saturday, to be honest with you, the parking situation helped because people can't. The line didn't get that long because, you know, people can't park, so that helped.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time I parked, Uber showed up. There was no line. Mm-hmm. I saw on Instagram that there was a line about an hour, 45 minutes before that, but we would walk right in, talk to security, and was up the escalator and gone.
Well, for next Anaheim, there's a trick. I learned this from a couple of my attendees. They went to the hotel, paid for valet, and walked.
Well, I just paid for it. I just said
And
we went to
valet was
Disneyland,
only
like,
what
the
five,
students
five,
paid.
$10 more,
Wow.
right?
Hey, all good knowledge.
That's gonna be crazy.
Now valet's gonna get pissed at me the next Anaheim then.
Man, that day was crazy. That whole situation, I didn't even think. Honestly, that Saturday, I didn't think I was gonna get in until like that later that night, or I just felt like I was like every turn I was making, it was just traffic. It was just lines with cars. I didn't. I was telling FD, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get in. And then FD's like, I'm already inside because he parked at the Target down the
I told him I
street.
used exactly what Jay told me to do.
Oh man, I was trying to figure any way just to get any closer. That walk, I ended up parking in Disneyland, like the one on the further end. It was still like a little walk, but still, that day was just like, man, it just showed how big, like how crazy that show was, especially that.
And I'll have my head on the swivel for people because I miss Jalen Rose, and I hate the fact that I missed Jalen Rose that day he was there, but I will have my head on the swivel for people.
especially with the whole fanatics and everything's going on. So yeah, I can only imagine what's gonna happen this one.
I can only imagine. Growing up in Chicago, Jalen Rose has a special place.
Yeah, so I
Hey,
can only.
if you're looking for stars, just look for the Card Father.
Oh, I will. A lot of times I just watch him. I was standing in the middle of the floor, and G Junior asked, "What you looking at?" Just following Rob around right quick, just seeing what he's doing.
Yeah, and please, everybody, make sure you have your credentials when you're walking the show, because that I don't want to have to deal with that. We can just have fun and just follow the rules, and nobody's gonna bother you.
I mean, they're quality, they're durable. You can go throughout your day. They're on your neck.
Well, we're using wristbands for some of the badges. Some will have the lanyards. It depends what kind of pass you have.
Okay.
Oh, no more.
So vendors will have the lanyard. All access and press and staff will have the lanyards. Day passes will have the wristbands.
Okay.
And VIP entry, they will have something special.
Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking of instead of doing the hand stamp, maybe a stamp on the forehead, but they won't allow me to do that.
I mean, probably get some people in trouble.
Right. But that's good for the sponsors, right? Their logo is somebody's forehead.
It is. Any other questions for me, JD?
I mean, he went through everything without me asking him. So I mean, yeah, I'm just
great interview. Yeah,
man, I don't know. Every time I still get these butterflies. They're just thinking about the days, the show. I think it's what 30 days or something, 34 days to the show. So, it's just gonna be like that. And
are you helping with check-in again? JD?
Yeah, I already talked to Ken. I told him I'm getting. I already made my. I told him I help Thursday, Friday. I don't know about Saturday, but I'm gonna help as much.
No, Thursday and Friday are the important days because that's where we check in both the dealers and the VIP. Saturday, Sunday, usually after Friday afternoon, usually we're fine already.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that's even working like 30 minutes there. Just season in a different light. I'm just like, wow. I just hats off to you guys because I just managing all that, plus the people, plus the vendors and everything is just like I can only imagine just the stuff that's going through your heads because you got to deal with one person and you got to deal with that, this, that, and then
you have a special role. You know that, right? You'll have your own table that says, "Any complaints? Please go to this desk."
Oh, that'd be cool.
You're manning it.
No, don't worry. I have you guys' number on speed dial. They made me go start showing people where the tables were at, and this is me going first day, and I didn't know where anything was at. So they made me go walk like a few vendors to their tables, and I was lost too because it was so big. I was like, I didn't understand the them how the setup was until like I started looking at the rows where it has like the numbers and everything, and it started making sense. But walking in there, I was like, whoa, this is like insane. This amount of tables and the rows that you guys have is crazy. So I can only imagine Ontario going.
Well, I'm spending more money with signage
Okay.
this time around. It's not still gonna be 100% foolproof because I don't deal with that side of the promotion. So this is my first time handling signage.
Hmm.
So hopefully, I thought of everything. There's so many things to kind of project, and hopefully I don't miss anything in those details. But we're gonna try our best to communicate, especially with the vendors, how to onboard them properly.
And then I guess because one of the collector Drew asked, what is since it's what the how many shows is the fourth one? Are you guys gonna start doing like special event like merchandise like shirts or anything like that, or that's still in the works?
So
Because I want like I still think it's pretty cool.
this is show promoting 101. If we decide to put merch, part of the agreement in any convention center in California,
Oh, you gotta pay.
the convention center will take a percentage of your sales.
Ah,
That's in the contract.
The tax, you know that.
I know, but damn, like that already. Oh,
Yeah, so having to staff that, having to prepare that, having to plan that, and having to do accounting on that, it's really not worth it because number one, we don't want to overprice merchandise just to make money.
oh.
We're in the business of doing a card show event, not
Mhm.
a branding event.
Fair. Yeah.
That's
So if companies like Tag, like what they did before, they gave out shirts with the Burbank Card Show, they
Yeah,
can
that
do
was
that.
cool.
They
Yeah.
can do that. But if it's our own branding, they will charge us for that.
Mm.
See, these are the one-on-ones of running an event.
And same thing with tickets. If we reach a certain amount of tickets, and the percentage that they're asking is when all is said and done, if the amount of tickets that say times X% is more than my rental fee, instead of charging me the rental, they'll charge me the percentage of the tickets instead,
Oh wow.
whichever is higher.
Hmm.
That's why it's not in our best interest to charge $50 a ticket.
Makes sense. That makes complete
So
sense.
it's always a win on the opposite side.
Yeah, no, I get it now. I understand. I was just wondering. Can we shift a little bit now to your baby, the little baby, premiere? How's that going, and what's the forecast this year moving forward?
So premiere, we're doing our next show next week, this Saturday. Then Kobe has planned a gym show. So Saturday is gonna be Brea.
Okay.
Kobe prepared a gym show on the 3rd of February, 2 weeks before the Burbank. We're still working on the details for March. It's probably the first Saturday of March. Then after that, we don't know yet what the dates will be. Brea is contingent upon hotel management. They want to increase the prices again, and I don't want to increase the price to the vendors. They want to increase the rental to $500 per show, plus 10% service charge, plus 10% tax, plus 22% service charge. So that adds up.
Damn, that's like 32% in like this.
I'm already paying the tax and the service charge based off the original
Wow.
price of the rental. And I can only do like 75, 80 tables there. So even if I put a $10 increase with the vendors, $10 is still $10. And you know me, with the local shows, I am very against charging admission. For me, the only shows that should be charging admission if you're in a professional setup wherein you're quote unquote a convention. And you're adding more value than just a card show. So that's contingent. Because of that, I was not supposed to book Brea for January. and they realized that I wasn't going to book it, so they gave me a call and told me I will have the same pricing only until March, and we can reconvene from there. We are looking at certain venues, certain other venues. The one video that I showed you on Instagram, that was actually Fountain Valley.
Hmm.
The thing is, Andy Kim, who does the sports basement, is also in Fountain Valley. So I don't want to step on somebody else's toes.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Andy, if me and Kobe are going to do Fountain Valley, we need to team up together. And I asked him how much revenue he makes at his show. That if I do a show in Fountain Valley, I need to make sure I take care of him.
Okay.
So plus the owner of the venue is also kind of going to be part of basically the ownership of the show for that venue. So we need to make sure it makes sense.
Oh wow. Damn.
I have the option of going back to the old Anaheim Embassy Suites, my first hotel show. So that's also available. It's just about making sure the price is correct. But the thing is, only Brea offers 8-foot tables. Everybody else offers 6-foot, and a lot of my vendors like the 8-foot.
Hmm. Interesting.
So we're looking for plug and play opportunities. I have like 3 other people who offered venues to me, but it needs to make sense. It needs to make sense. I can't just do a show an hour away from my house and expect it to run smoothly. So it needs to be plug and play.
Hmm.
Got it.
Wow. Yeah.
But
Damn.
we will do one show at least a month, whether it's a gym or a hotel. Premier's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are the only show left. You guys can't go anywhere. So you guys make sure you guys stay.
Yeah. No, we're not there to profit from Premiere. We just want something stable, something we can enjoy. But
Mhm.
that's the key word, to enjoy. If I have to scamper filling out the tables, getting the tables sold, then that's stress. I was fortunate that every single show for 2023 was actually sold out, and every single show had a waiting list. But again, things can change that easy, especially if you change a venue. So we want to make sure we make the right decisions for that.
And then, is it so? Let's talk about it real quick. Is it really hard balancing both of that, the Premiere aspect and then the Burbank aspect as well? Now, since you're taking more on your plate with the Burbank part, is it more you're just balance it out as best as you can, or is it time just to like probably just let Kobe take it, and you just focus on Burbank, or are you still trying to hold 2 and 2?
Premiere is not a handful because everybody knows what to expect from me already over there. And the show has proven itself to bring traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the difficult part. The difficult part is I have a 9 to 5,
Oof.
and I'm also a full-time PSA preferred dealer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So aside from my main job, I'm part owner of Premiere. I'm part owner of the Burbank Car Show. I own All About the Grade, and I partnered with Ship My Cards for PSA grading. So giving the right amount of time and attention to each one, not sacrificing the other, that's a challenge.
Oof. Yeah. That's probably the biggest challenge right there.
Hey, you're not. What you just said. You're not sleeping much, huh?
What sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me, on my 9 to 5, I spend my lunch break on the phone
Mm-hmm.
for Burbank.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
So it's fun when somebody cancels a call.
Oh, knowing you, you're probably just fuming. Oh,
No,
yeah.
it is. I can't blame them because corporate and people who do this also follow in the same boat, that they have multiple commitments overlapping. So I expect that. I understand that. It's just that I feel like I could have vested this time to somebody else who was available. rather than having to reschedule everything again and making everything work.
Yeah. No,
It's part of the territory.
Well, hats off to you. Because, I mean, how long has it been? 3 years already? 3 years and it's going. So, I mean,
And remember, by 11 o'clock a.m. or 12 noon lunch break, it's 4 o'clock in New York.
oh, wow. Yeah.
You have to understand that too.
True.
Yeah. So, yeah, this the whole time. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I can.
So the miscommunication of saying, I'll talk to you at noon, is it East Coast time or Pacific Coast time? You have to be very precise and clear, and you need to make sure you send the calendar invite. You just don't go by their word. Okay, I'll talk to you at noon. No, it needs to be black and white that they know exactly. Because like I had to confirm with FD if today is 6 or 7 o'clock. Because if this was done last Sunday, it was supposed to be 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you'll both hate me if I show up at 7 o'clock on a 6 o'clock appointment, right?
Oh,
That's so crazy.
yeah, I know how you are, man. So I know that if you have a question, you're going to ask it, and you're going to be on time. I learned that about you a long time.
Yeah, you should talk to Donald about his experience being in part of this team. I'm pretty sure he has a lot of stories.
Can only imagine. Did you ever just think, like, I don't know, take a step back? I mean, I always ask you guys, I ask EJ this, I ask you this every time the show's about to start or counting down to the show. But did you ever just take a step back, like literally take a step back this time and just look back the last 2-3 years of everything, how you guys started at the Burbank, where everybody couldn't get in that Saturday, where the line was wrapped around, to Ontario, now Anaheim, now coming back to Ontario? Like, can you ever just imagine how big it's gotten since then, from day one, for you, Rob, and just talking about it?
I'm the type of person who always have to look back where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it with Premiere. Premiere is my step stool to get to Burbank.
Oh yeah.
And because that was my step stool, I still feel I owe Kobe because of that. And the reason I'm not going heads on with Andy at Fountain Valley, because without Andy, there would have been a Premiere. So, when opportunities open up, you need to know why they open up, who helped you open up that opportunity, and always stay grounded to that.
That's loyalty.
Yeah. So at whatever capacity, whatever Burbank happens, I need to make sure Kobe has a role and that he can somewhat benefit from it too. I can't promise him the world, but
But he looks like he's having the time of his life. Every time I see him, he's always smiling. So I can only imagine how he's thinking of it. How crazy this got from a matter of few shows going in. Where it's at now.
But definitely, the boom was a life changer for me because I was fortunate enough to be a collector of the right cards when the boom happened. So I was able to do well with what I had at that time. Then it elevated to Rob talking to me, having a conversation of doing an Elks Lodge show that now became the Burbank show. So that was another opportunity that opened up for me. I'm not taking that into stride, but I did promise Rob that I am going to stick around as long as we can do it.
All right.
So.
That kind of flows into this question from Alex. What is the Burbank Car Show?
The long-term goal would be, we're not going to call ourselves Nationals. We're not even going to call ourselves the West Coast National. We will let the consumer, the attendees, the vendors decide to what scale we're at. We want to make sure that the expectations that are brought upon us are reasonable, attainable, and that we can execute it. We don't want to be giving promises that we cannot keep. So the ultimate goal is just longevity, to do it as far as we can, to the farthest we can push it, to change the game in such a way that we need to adapt to today's market, to the today's collectors, to the ecosystem today. An example would be when I went to National, I had to walk away from 3 deals just because a vendor wouldn't accept Zelle
Oh my! Don't
or
even bring that.
Venmo or PayPal.
Hey, I just
Don't,
want
don't
I
even
just
bring that up.
market, and
You
people
know?
are like cash or
Don't even bring that up.
Yeah.
I was so upset yesterday. I was gonna buy the Shake Color Blast, and I didn't have no cash on me. Like
Uh-huh.
I was gonna carry X amount of cash. I mean, I know you guys would, but I just don't have that with me.
oh, I'm not doing that.
So I'm like, the only thing I got is PayPal. Like I don't have. I mean, unfortunately, I don't got Zelle or Venmo because I don't want to do all that. And I was like really upset because I can't find that there's certain cards I'm not gonna find, like you said, in LA, whatever, in New York, wherever I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna find those cards. You can't even find it on eBay.
Mhm.
So I was just really upset leaving that show because I had something that I know even FD said I'm not gonna see that card.
Mhm.
Who knows when I'm gonna see it. So that's why, that whole not taking only cash or whatever is like, come on, man, you're a vendor. You should be able to take every
It's 2024.
yeah. So I was like upset. So what? I
Uh,
hope.
it's as simple as, what? Will you pay the fees for me to take Zelle or Venmo or PayPal? If you really want that card, then the vendor should at least offer you. I'll pay for the 3% fee.
Yeah, and I'm paying over. I mean, I wouldn't. There's certain cards
Yeah,
real
you
quick.
can't overcome.
Yeah,
You are
I mean, come on
you're
now.
ready to rumble.
I was
Yeah.
Jay. I was ready to roll. I was like, look, I walked back and forth. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to buy it. Like, I wanted to save my money for Burbank, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do this anymore. And I was like, I'm ready. Like, let me do it. Just walk away. Me walk. I had my PayPal ready, email, everything ready to go. Just tell me how much it was. I wasn't even arguing with the price because there's certain cards you just can't.
Mhm.
How much lower can you possibly get? Something that I wouldn't consider it rare, but in this aspect it is. So I was like, you know what, whatever. Let me just do it, get it out the way, and then I'll be happy with that. Because if I'm leaving, I'm gonna be telling myself I'm gonna regret it. So there's certain cards, or I'm just like I'm not even gonna fight the person for the price because if it makes sense and I know where the card will be valued at, maybe like 2-3 months or a year from now, whatever, then I'm gonna take it. I'm not. See, I don't know if that's how I don't know because you guys went to the show yesterday, but the show over there in New York was more like they're really like afraid of. I guess I'm people are afraid of losing money, but I mean they were just like I'm too deep in it, like I'm too high on it. I can't go that low. But when obviously the comps drop drastically, so I'm just thinking like over here, like people are able to adjust. So I just think the market overall, people just need to learn how to adjust to where the market is right now. Understand that certain cards are not where they're valued at anymore, and that it's changing. A lot of it is changing. A lot of these, like you said in the beginning of the show, a lot of cards are being more affordable, and I completely agree. And I'm not saying I have a lot of money or anything like that, but there's certain cards that I would not be able to afford like 2-3 years ago or even a year ago because where the market is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mark Neiman, Ultimate Pastime, told me this several times. Jay, when a vendor complains to you that they didn't do well, it's not your fault.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you brought the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
it's their job to sell themselves and sell their product. Now, it's your fault when nobody shows up. Right?
Yeah.
So, in a perfect world, in terms of the long-term goal, I wish that every single dealer that we have at the Burbank show, I can pre-screen and educate. If you're too high on where you're in the card, either take the loss and just reinvest that money somewhere else, or just don't bring the card.
Well, that should be like you
You
should
know.
put that as like a thing for these
Number
people.
two, we're doing a card show. We're not promoting a museum.
Mm.
Well, some people think I'm radical because I'll ask just that question at the table. Why is this card sitting here if you have no intentions of selling it?
Now, I understand some people, I know certain dealers, they put very high end cards there to show off
Mm-hmm.
that they're big buyers, so they want other people to sell to them. That I understand.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie too, but I mean, there's certain cards where you want to bring in the eyes, right? Like
Yeah.
you said. So I
Some are
mean,
conversation pieces,
yeah.
right?
See, exactly. That's what I like to
But
do.
at the end of the day, there's still, even though the price is unreasonable, there still has to be a price behind it.
Hmm.
What I call it's price not to sell. But you know what? If I tell you $50,000 on this card and you still want to buy it for that much, guess what? It's yours.
And you're not, and you don't have like, man, I don't want to do it. Like, has anybody ever caught your bluff? Like, I'm selling it for 20,000, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, here's the money.
I bought cards even until the last show I did, that I don't care about the comps. Yeah, once you see the final comp, when we bring the card home and you saw what it last sold for, and you probably overpaid, 10, 20, 30%. But in my mind, I still value that way. Is it my purchase, the last comp now, that I paid higher?
Hmm.
Right?
And
I
I
think
also,
that's
I
true.
also think we all don't think the same about where this card is going. So sometimes I might pay over because I think a certain thing about where a Shea card is going. But that's just
I'm never going to stop saying this, okay? If JD bought a card for $100 on eBay, and that's the last comp, and FD bought the next card for $90, and I bought the next card for $80, how is the comp ever going to go up if everybody wants to buy the same card for a lower price?
it will not.
Now, I understand if there's 10,000 copies of that card, that's going to happen. But if it's a card that's rare or short print or numbered to 10, and you tell me, hey, the last sold was 1,500, nobody else is selling it, I have the card, the second copy of the out of 10 card, and I want 1,650. I think it's still reasonable to ask 1,650.
Goodness. That's where I'm in the same boat. That's like the craziest thing to tell these people is that like you're not gonna walk around the show with this card like you're talking about. Like you're not gonna find it anywhere else. The chances of that happening at the show is like 1 to a trillion. So, oh my goodness, that
And that's the big difference of the Burbank shows that I've noticed. Collectors do come out, and they will pay.
sure.
Yeah.
They will pay within reason.
Because they know the selection is going to be there.
Mhm.
I've talked to people, pull people to the side.
The only thing you need to worry about is that if I'm the collector and I have $10,000 to spend on one card, I see a card that JD has, I see a card that FD has, and I'm willing to pay 10,000 for each, even though they're both worth $8,000. Okay, at the end of the day, I can only buy one card.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to tell me which option is better for my money. Right?
Oh, absolutely. I'll say this: coming to the Burbank Card Show, I've seen more dealers out of their seat. They want to talk to me. They're engaging me. I've never had a form of a payment issue. I've never had anybody saying, I don't accept this. I only do cash. I've never had that. It's a seamless process. We can get down to what the comps are if we want to have a comp conversation, or if we don't. If I want that card, we're talking about the card. I've moved more cards at a Burbank Card Show than I probably have at any other show.
Yeah,
And I've used the resources of cashing out, and I've used the resources of renegotiating at the table.
yeah.
This is a true story from Anaheim. I'm not going to mention any names or a company, but everybody knows this person. So one employee of an auction house in Anaheim decided, everybody's upstairs. I'm going to get down and dirty and go up there and find some sellers to sell their card on my auction house. That was his choice to do it, and he did very well. Some people just waited for somebody to come up to their booth or their table to get a deal done. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Oof, yes,
and do the hustle.
Yes, that is 100% correct.
On that.
That is something that everybody has a problem with because they don't want to get up. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, no one's coming. I mean, See, that's where I'm like so in the middle sometimes. Like, do I want to walk the show or do I want to sit down and just like let it come to me? Like, I had success doing both. It's just like I always have a trouble which way I want to go each show. You know what I mean? Because there's if you sit, you're missing out on opportunities that the vendors might have or people might walk around with. But if you're walking around, you're seeing everything to an extent, right? That the vendors have, but people might come up to you, might tell you something that you might not see if a vendor had. Like it's, I always go back and forth. Like, what's the best way to navigate a show?
For the attendees for the Burbank show coming, excuse me, I'm dealing with a cold.
It's all good. Understood.
So for the attendees going to the show, or for any buyer for that matter, if you see a card you really like, and you know you're not going to see it at the next table and the table after that, I really suggest don't walk away.
Ooh.
Make every effort to get the deal done. Because once somebody else is more aggressive than you,
Oh yeah, you lost.
you're not going to find that card again anytime soon. Remember, you're dealing with people who do repacks. They pay strong. They pay 85-90%. And if you're a dealer and you're expecting people to sell to you at 70%, you have to understand there's also strong buyers out there. Some people get mad because the Burbank card shop is set up there, buying all day. Hey, you want people to sell to you? Then pay stronger, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
The thing with the Burbank card shop team, they will give you a price for everything. It might not be the price you want, but they're gonna make an offer to most of the cards.
Every card, they buy everything. They'll suck. They're like a vacuum when they're over there.
Now, if you think somebody can pay stronger, then that's your decision, being the owner of the card, to try to gamble and bring it to somebody else.
Wow.
So I was at the show yesterday in Chino Hills, and I don't know the name of the player. It's a football player from the Rams. It was a gold Prism auto, and I think it was
the Puka. I think I saw.
yeah. So he wanted a certain price, and a repacker offered him 3,000, and the repacker told me he was comfortable at 28, but he thinks he has a buyer for it, so he's willing to go until 3,000. That player can get injured tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that card got hit in a break or something. So I'm pretty sure the owner was in it very low.
Oh, I think the recent one. Yeah. I know who bought it. I know who got it. Yeah.
So me, I would have taken the $3,000. The seller said he had an offer for 35, but the cash was there already for the taking.
That's man.
I think a lot of people devalue time.
I think patience. Patience is the one.
As a collector / dealer, that's my Achilles heel. Unlike other people out there, I only sell when there's a show. I don't sell on eBay. I don't post much on Instagram or on Facebook. I wait for the next show.
Mm-hmm.
I've acquired a Luca PSA 10 Prism Crack Ice for $1,300. By the time the next show happened, it was only $800. And the good thing is I'm a collector, so until I sell it, I feel I haven't lost anything until I sell it for cheaper than what I got it for. And I'm the type of person, you know what? I believe in the player. I believe in the card. Hopefully, I'll get closer to what I paid for it come the playoffs, and hopefully close to break even. I'm not even expecting to profit from it, but hopefully at least break even. If I don't, I'll keep the card. But the ones who do it for a living, you can't afford to do that. You need to move it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that's where the hobby's going possibly? Is just being more patient? Patience, no more flipping is reset like quick flipping anymore? Or is it still, there's still little, because I know a few people, but it doesn't seem like it's as FD would say, sustainable anymore this time.
So the singles kind of corrected itself already. But the thing is, it got corrected to a certain degree we're in. It got corrected to based on the age group of the market. What do I mean by that? I think it's safe to say that 70% of the people out there you see in the community has been in the industry only since the boom.
Mhm.
Only about 30% has been there longer.
I'll agree with those numbers.
Okay. So people like me who's been there forever, I would value certain things higher than what people are willing to price today.
Mm.
I agree.
Because I know the history of those cards and I know how to the rarity and how hard those cards are to get.
Hmm.
But because these are cards that are not familiar to another person, to the vast majority, they're not willing to pull the trigger and pay what the card is worth. And that's totally understandable, right? But at the same time, cars are moving faster than before the boom. There's
Really?
more interest, and stuff like that. So you have to adapt to what the market is. Now, me being an old school collector, I know Jordan's never going to lose his market. LeBron's never going to lose his market. So I don't mind if the correction devalues some of the Jordan cards, some of the LeBron cards. I'm still going to buy those because their brand is going to be there even after they retire.
Hmm.
The reason I let go of my Damian Lillard PC is because 10 years from now, the new collector or the new flipper probably wouldn't know who Damian Lillard is,
Ouch.
right?
This is true. Jay, speak on it. This is true.
Well, I'm saying like ouch for the Damian Lillard collectors, not for me. Like ouch.
This is
I,
true.
I like him as a player. I did well. I did well with his cards. I got it when it was still cheap, but it's time for me to move on.
Is it hard
Yep.
for you to do that? I'm just wondering because I might have to do that one day. But
The
I'm just
hard
like,
part for me is I wanted to let them go all at the same time.
hmm.
And guess what? Burbank was the one who took everything from me. So they bought the whole collection from me. It was less than rather than what I would get if I pieced it apart. But it's so hard to piece it apart because you'll see remnants of what your collection was, and that was hard for me to deal with.
Wow.
So I'd rather give it at a lower price just to,
Just get rid of-
you know, because I was already way in the green.
What made like what this his Prism and all like National Treasures or like what made you want to go after Lillard? I didn't know you
So
were a Lillard fan like that.
I like how he played when he was a rookie. Then I found out he was exclusive with Leaf with his autos. So I knew his stuff was going to be rare.
Hmm.
So like Wemby right now, right? If Wemby is a collectible player for years to come, because he doesn't have any autos, there's only certain things that you can get of his cards. And if people look back to rookie cards, there's going to be a limited selection
Interesting.
if Wemby pans out. Remember, that's the same thing with Simmons. He signed with Upper Deck. His silvers and his hollows were up, up way past the roof for a while. But because he didn't turn out to be anybody,
It dropped. Wow.
I think drop is a nice word to use.
It vanished.
You know,
That's crazy. So who are you going after now? Are you still staying with the MJ and the 90s stuff, or are you
I'm
kind of
always going to be Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Curry is still in my list because he's a game changer. But if we're talking about newer players, I'm very cautious, but I do want to get a little bit of very unique Ja Morants.
wow.
And my sleeper probably is going to be Desmond Bain.
Mm.
I like Obi Toppin too. I have
Oh yeah, we know the
Obi
Obi,
Toppin.
yeah. And he's doing pretty well. He's doing well over
But
there.
I'm not expecting Obi to blow off. Ja, I think, because remember after his suspension, what's the first thing he did? Dunk
Right.
over Webby,
Crazy. They went
right?
like 4-2. But I mean, I'm just saying, like he made an impact right off the bat, and then now he's unfortunately got hurt.
I'll still buy Luca, but I'll be more picky with Luca.
Mm.
Interesting, Jack.
Wait, so what? Hold on, you didn't say any.
You know, Jay. JD
Huh?
has heard a lot of this. He has heard a lot of this already.
Yeah, but hold on, you didn't say. I was expecting you to say Shay. No Shay yet. He hasn't caught your eye or what?
Shea and what's the name of the other guy
Ant-Man?
who's Halliburton?
I don't know.
They're
about
getting traction
Halliburton.
right now.
I don't know about
But
Halliburton.
here's my question: are they really fun to watch?
I'm biased, so you can ask me that.
When you're watching Steph Curry, you know he's gonna jack up a ridiculous shot from somewhere in the court, deep down. When you're watching Ja, you know he's gonna posterize somebody.
But you know, the only thing, Jay, that gets around that is putting jewelry on fingers. So if any of these born players start putting rings on fingers, and Ja is still being Ja, hurt every 20 games, 30 games, and small guards catching hell,
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
the
I don't.
gamble.
that whole thing flips.
It's the same thing as investing in a quarterback. They get hit, they get hurt. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
game over.
Look what happened to Andrew Luck,
Yeah.
right? The day Andrew Luck announced he was going to retire, a lot of eBay returns happened.
And what's the quarterback that was with the Eagles? Carson Wentz has been the same since the injury.
Man, that's.
But again, the thing that sticks to people's memory is when they watch the games.
Highlights, I would say today you have shooters, scorers in basketball. You have guys that are highlight, almost like Dominique, human highlight reels. You watch ESPN, you know you're going to see them. Then
I
I
never thought about that.
there's a chasm between those players and those who will win. Just like when Steph first came out, Steph was shooting mid-range jumpers. Very rarely shot a three.
Now it changed.
Average 17 points a game. His game started evolving. Then
So
other
here's the perfect example for the two of you. Giannis.
Mhm.
Unless it's a rookie and it's a prison,
Mhm.
his cards really didn't go up.
Mhm.
He won a championship. He has a ring, right? He will dunk, but people expect him to be just camping out and dunking all the time, bouncing all the time. He even learned how to shoot the three.
Learning. It's not perfect.
But in terms of his cards, the performance of a player doesn't really reflect the value of their cards.
Ooh.
Jordan didn't win until what, 93?
Seventh year.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Same as LeBron. He didn't win until so many years. So it's not just about the rings. It's not about the stats. It's about the likability, the eye appeal.
And I think we're talking about like what are some shorter term you can make, and then what are some things you're gonna look back on in 30 years and talk about. Those are two different things.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with the whole the appeal and everything, but I don't know. Because I mean, Shay's game is like, you gotta be a fan. You know what I mean? He's not gonna make like the highlight reels like you're talking about, but Jay, man, he's just, I don't know, he's on another level right now. So we'll see.
He's a very, very solid player. He can categorize him as a superstar.
Oh, see, there you go. That's why I like it. See,
but does he have a brand?
That's the only thing he's missing right now. Is this?
But then I would ask, like, does Ja have one?
I mean,
he has a shoe now.
He has a shoe.
Everybody has a shoe.
No, but I mean, but with Nike, see this? That's the only thing I got. So I always tell FD this. Shay's putting the numbers. The numbers are coming. Like the numbers are consistent. Now he just has to do it in the sense of like yearly. You know what I mean?
He's got to show up in these playoffs. Let's just get right to it. He's got to show up in these playoffs. He's got to ball out. And he's got to put him someplace that people remember him.
Yeah.
Whatever they do, however far they go, he's got to come back next year and do the same thing.
Yeah, but the brand part, like the whole off the court, still plays a role. That's why people still like Jaws. I mean, like there's shenanigans, yeah, but
I'm nothing close to a football expert. Let's just compare Peyton Manning and Brady cards.
Oh.
Well, Peyton has no personality.
He has no person. He's
We-
barely having a personality right.
But again,
Bro.
career-wise, you can say they're almost.
Don't say it
Yeah.
because FD's like the biggest Tom Brady supporter over here. So
I'm not by myself. There are millions. I'm not by myself.
no, but that is a good point. That there has to be some likability just off the court for them to like thrive as well.
Duncan has how many rings? Kawhi has how many rings?
See, there's too many things that go into it. Like there's things like.
But again, it's for the person who buys their cards. It's their attachment to that person.
That's true. Yeah, that's the part you get. I got it.
But we know Kawhi, Tim Duncan, Peyton Manning, zero personality. They're not saying anything. They're not really doing anything.
Yeah, it's
You
just hard.
someone that someone at least wants to listen to. Like Tom Brady can sit down and do an interview, and you want to hear what he has to say.
Mhm.
I see Peyton Manning on TV. I'm probably not stopping. My channel is I'm sorry, still moving.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
what
I
he's
guess like what FD is saying, at the end of the day, once they're done,
They're done.
what's their relevance?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest part. Yeah. Well, before we go, I just want to ask your guys' opinion because we didn't even talk about it, but I'm sure everybody wants to know what you guys think about it. The LeBron and the Bronny Jr. 1-of-1, the auto that they dropped last week. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Share my thoughts, but Jay,
You think that's the card of the year, or what do you think? Or is it just like the Tom Brady Bowman auto phase that we had like
JD, you know I share my ideas on that card.
So yeah, I just want to hear what you guys, because the show, we're almost gonna get off. I want to hear you guys' opinion on that because FD don't really like LeBron and Jay kind of likes LeBron. I just want to know because that's the first father-son 1-of-1 that's gonna be a big chase the next coming weeks, possibly months.
That card will become irrelevant.
Jay, speak on it. Speak on it, Jay. You can cut me. I can't even get it out. Jay said it. Go ahead, man.
That card will become irrelevant once they have a dual auto in an NBA jersey.
Yep. There you go. That's the answer, man.
Okay, I was wondering, because everybody's blowing it up.
It's hyped up because it's new. It always happens.
Double down on that.
All right.
No hating on Bronny. He's a spot up shooter at best.
So JD.
There you go.
So Tops has the right to LeBron already, right?
Yeah.
And Tops will eventually get the license for the NBA.
Yeah.
So once a LeBron James autograph with him pictured in the Lakers, the Heat, and the Cavs in one card.
That's right.
Do you think the LeBron card is still going to be relevant?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's also say Bronny's a spot up shooter at best. Let's double down.
My God.
Last night he went 0 for 5, 0 for 7.
So if Tops comes up with an NBA card of LeBron James blocking Bronny in a game and it's a 1-of-1, do you think the duel is going to be relevant?
No.
So it's a seasonal card, basically. That's what we're going to call it?
Just like the Brady card.
It's a wow. All right. I was just wondering. I still think that's pretty. There is some comments saying that like everybody's going crazy, but it's him in his high school jersey. So I can see that aspect. But I just wanted to hear your guys.
Well, when these people were still in the news, would you buy a quad auto of LeVar, LaMelo, LiAngelo, and Lonzo?
Right. Probably not.
During that time, you probably will.
You probably will. Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing.
And then one got kicked off UCLA for whatever. And then the other one got a chronic knee injury. Whatever happened because he has no pain. Then the other one has lower extremity issues on a regular basis.
And the last one is a psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then. So obviously it's gonna get pulled. What do you guys think it's gonna be price wise at the time? Like when it all, when they first whoever grips it or gets it, what do you think the pricing is gonna be on it? Raw and then possibly
is that on card or sticker?
I think it's on card.
On card.
Somebody's gonna probably pay close to 200,000 on the 1 of 1.
And then we'll see a posting 9 months later where it's a $15,000 car.
Yeah, if they come up with a licensed version of it, that's probably not gonna be even 5,000.
Wow. I was expecting like 10. Some, like in the 10, 15.
What brand is that card?
What is it? The
Omen U, I think.
Bowman U?
it's a Bowman U.
It's not even a chrome.
No.
Well, that's why I like asking you guys, because it's a difference between listening to, how do I say it? Yeah, I don't care. It's a difference between listening to people that actually know the hobby and are collectors, and the influencers and the people that try to sell something that they have no idea about.
Well, what I try to do, like I try not to hate on stuff. So I don't have posts about this is nothing. Why are people talking about this? I don't hate on stuff. If people see something in the news headline and they get excited about it, more power to them. But what am I really seeing when I first see it is what we just talked about. Nothing about that moves me because I know what that is.
I haven't touched a single St. Mary's LeBron auto in a long time.
And I've seen some that are pretty much affordable. Neither have I.
Really? Since we're no Braun aspect, do you think after he's gone, in terms of like when he retire, whatever that's going to be, you think he's still going to have value like Kobe and MJ in the hobby in terms of his cards, or do you think it's probably just going to be
only the low numbered and the rare ones, especially the higher grade?
I also think his personality is going to play a role. His personality is not Kobe and Michael Jordan's. His personality is LeBron's. I'm not knocking him for his personality, but I think that's why a lot of people can relate more and vibe more with Steph Curry than LeBron James right now, and they're both still active.
So on FD's note, again, this is just for debate, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Don't hate people watching. Don't hate me on this. If Kobe was still alive, do you think he'll have the same love in cards?
I think he had an opportunity from coaching his daughter and what his afterlife was going to be after the sport to mend some things with probably the general public, and that could have helped his cards, where it just got cut off because of his sudden death.
Mm-hmm.
And then the imagination of Kobe took over. The Mamba mentality of Kobe took over, because a lot of people out here really don't know Kobe. I can talk. I'm from Chicago, and I can start talking to people in LA about Kobe Bryant games. They don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm just going by the numbers. He signed 12,000 card autographs in Panini every year.
Yeah, he signed a lot.
He was like LeBron, that half like him, half hate him. He was always been mocked of having the worst shooting percentage for a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he also had, earlier in his career, was deemed to be a snob to his fans.
And his teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And his teammates, yes. Even though he hated people that were snobs to him, I'm going to say hate people. He hated the situations when basketball players were snobs to him on his way up. Mm-hmm. Penny Hardaway was a snob to him. He always talked about that. But, we're human. We're all human. We all probably have some stuff that we don't like that we may have done to somebody else, but that was Kobe. Yeah. And that's the part I say about him, his person, being known more after he played. Because when he was playing, he wasn't a joy to be around.
You can hear everybody's stories that they just talked about. I think it hurt him, and then it helped him at the same time too. You know what I mean? Like FD was saying, because he was about to just set off with it, with the stories.
Jordan is the master of ambiguity, right? We don't know anything from Mike. Mike doesn't say anything. Like, we could get into like what happened at the Bulls Ring of Honor. Mike wasn't showing up to that.
But remember, Jordan also had his ups and downs in that aspect. He didn't get along with, what's the manager's name?
Barry Krause.
Reinsdorf or Krause.
Yeah. Krause. Yeah. He had a gambling problem. Mm-hmm. There were rumors about the mafia. That's why he retired the first time around.
All that.
That's why his dad got killed or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He early in his career, he was also known to be a ball hog.
Yeah, we know that.
He was playing with some bums, but yeah, he was,
Oh, that's so funny.
You know, but at the end of the day, he built his brand.
yeah. But even today, though, he doesn't talk about stuff. There can be stuff right in front of his face. Like when LeBron made some statements about, I never talked to Mike. Mike has no response to that. He released a video for the Bulls Ring of Honor just to say, hey, I'm sorry I'm not there. I'm really bummed out about not being there. He was just at Michigan's national championship game. He has no interest. He has no interest in being there.
And remember the controversy he had that he didn't stand up like Muhammad Ali did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't have his own voice.
But also in post-retirement, Mike has done a lot of stuff in the community that a lot of people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not him being Ali standing up and saying something. It's not even his personality.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff about him, but it's a lot of stuff that we don't even know. And I always wondered if he played in today's with social media and everything that's going on, Mike will be forced to tell us more about him. But in the same regard, we don't know anything about how LeBron James grew up. We don't know anything about his background. And his team has done a great job that we will never know that until he wants to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in this era of social media and everything else. But nobody talks about LeBron under the age of 13. We don't know anything about LeBron James.
Yeah, it's crazy. But now you see all these kids, you know everything what they started.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zion's a perfect example.
Everything.
You know, the industry, the cars have changed, you know, based on mentality, based on perception. But I think the cards, every single cycle, they tend to go back. And it's like fashion. It comes back.
Mm.
So there are times that people like refractors, then they like case hits, then they like autographs, and so on and so forth. But believe me when I tell you this, at the end of the day, the grade, the pop, how hard a card to grade is, how rare the card will be the drivers of what will sustain in value in the future.
I totally.
You know, I just bought a box of 92 Flair Series 2, where you get the total D of Jordan. I pulled 6 total Ds. Unfortunately, I didn't pull a Jordan. But when I look at the comp of a PSA 10 of a total D Jordan, the last few sales are consistently 10 grand. Because it was a card, ever since before, was a very hard card to grade.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
You know, so being the player, being how hard the card is to grade, commands value. The card is not hard to pull because there's 6 in one box. And I think there's only like a 15 card or 20 card set. It's like the Scoring Kings Michael Jordan. There's 1 Scoring Kings per box. So if you get a PSA 10, it's worth 10 grand.
Yep.
And that's what people don't understand today, because it's a pop 1 PSA 10, and all they see are comps of a PSA 9, and the PSA 9 is like $50. They feel it's only worth $100.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, those are especially in the later cards, the 90s. You hardly see any PSA 10s, and if you do, you know, they're priced high because you know why. There's more like what there's like 10s, and there's only like 5 10s. So like you can it's just supply versus demand.
Especially now, cards, in my opinion, are not graded based on their real condition. In my opinion, cards are being graded depending on how it will affect the market.
Now, see, Jay, you're getting deep right now. Getting really deep. Because I've said for years, I sent a card in the PSA. They tell me what the grade is. They send it back to me, right? So they're controlling the population.
Yeah. I didn't say anything, but it's based on interpretation.
And it's not just PSA; it's anywhere else. But, we can get deep. Out. We can get deep now.
That's
JD,
why.
That's that. I'm just saying that, you know, there's
that's
always
why I
things
really
that we don't
want.
know.
that's why I really want a grading company to become fully AI, and I
But,
hope the
but, hey,
market, I
but
hope the
do
market will adjust to realizing that that's a very important factor in evaluating cars in the
but,
future.
but let's just say, does everyone out here want that, don't you?
I mean, you got no choice. I mean, did you guys see that? Real quick, well, I sent it to you. Remember the Lamar Jackson was like an 8.5, whatever, and then it magically turned to a
10.
black label.
Black Label 10.
Yeah, did you see that, Jay?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
how
five
does
to a
that?
10, right?
Yeah, how does that? Because I thought, from my understanding, now you tell me. I have a friend that works at PSA, and he never wants to give me the straight answer. But isn't a car? Let's say we're grading like a whatever like a 1 out of 10, serial number is 5. It's already graded. It's PSA 8, and then you can you resubmit it, and then will it, if they fix whatever the issue is, could they go higher? And they never want to give me the answer like, no, you can't do that. It's always you could try it and then see what happens. It's
Oh,
never like a legit answer.
okay, without mentioning any company,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay,
Yep.
because I'm at the position right now that I cannot favor any company.
Understood.
Okay, there's a video in YouTube where a guy sent a card to an AI grading company. He cracked two cards, non-serial numbered, not autographed. Cracked the two cards from that grading company and sent it back. Those two cards got the exact same grade and was slapped on the exact same serial numbers. And when you go to the website, it will tell you that those cards were resubmitted and was previously graded and got the same grade.
See.
Not serial numbered, not autographed.
Mm-hmm. So their technology caught
Mm-hmm.
That's
the
crazy.
card exactly what it is.
There we go.
So it's possible, right?
Yeah, and then Coleman, I spoke to Coleman a few times. He just told me if it's not great, if it's like a short print, whatever is not numbered, and you think it's a 10, and you know it's a 10, just keep submitting it, and then eventually, it might come back at a 10. So I mean, it's so subjective at this point. It's like it's crazy because you think there's certain things like, oh, there's no way this is an 8 or a 9 when you clearly know it's gonna be it looks like a 10. It's centered, surface is flawless, back centering, the edging, everything that you look for in a car when you grade is like flawless, and then somehow it comes back at a 8, and then you don't know why. I think that's the part where everybody gets so frustrated. It's just like, how,
I
why
think
did?
there's going to come a time that almost all of the major companies will go AI.
Mm-hmm.
How far ahead is that? I don't know. But the market's going to drive them there,
Hmm.
Especially with the inconsistencies and stuff like that.
Yep.
But
And I wonder at that point what happens to those 9s and 10s that have already.
so if the companies were smart that they didn't use that kind of technology when they started, they need to uh, kind of reconfigure the labeling so that people would know if that was created through AI or the old system.
Yeah.
Because that will give people to pay more premium than with whatever premium they're already getting. Just imagine a company who's been there for a while and is already getting premium for their labels. Now grades cards consistently through a very reliable AI technology. Don't you think the value of those cards will increase more?
I would think so.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That's the direction we're going. I saw in the news the other day because minimum wage for fast food workers in California is going to go $20 an hour. There's this robotic factory before. It's now being converted to a restaurant with all robotic employees.
Mm.
I don't know how the food would taste like, but
Oh my god, that's gonna
Because
be.
my Amazon grocery store, you put groceries in, is adding up the price of the groceries.
Yep.
before you get to check out, and you don't really have to talk to anybody. Your information is saved, and you just keep rolling.
Yeah, everybody's trying to develop the next new app, but in this industry, we need something more than an app.
Mm.
We need consistency. We need the standard. I think the standard is what we're lacking in this industry. What is the standard for box breaking? What's supposed to be the reasonable, acceptable margins for box breaking, for case breaks? What's the acceptable standard for a multiplier from a 9 to a 9.5, from a 9.5 to a 10, from this company's grade to this grade? There has to be standards.
Yeah, for sure. Because everybody's my favorite part is it's 9 point. I don't even know the 9.5 to a 9, but everybody's favorite a 9 to a 10 is 0.3. So if it's a 9.5, it should be what 1.5 or what? I don't. It's very. There's a lot of aspects.
How do you react to people looking at your gem bit 9.5 and say, "Oh, it's not a true gem"?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, technically, it's not right. I mean,
but how can you determine value with that? At the end of the day, it's a 9.5.
Cars out here with no true gem, and then
yeah, you just gotta sell it at that point.
Is there really a card that's supposed to be pristine? When you say pristine, it's been untouched. It's never been messed with. Right? And now certain companies will have two different pristines.
That's true.
So at some point, a lot of them are going to get aligned. It's just a matter of when.
But is this who's gonna say what it is, and who is everybody gonna follow that? You know what I mean? Like the standard or whatever it is. Like will they follow what FD's saying, or they're just like, who's FD? Like what gives him the power for
with
that?
the money going around the industry right now? I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but maybe regulation will be imposed in the industry. Right?
I got a question here from I want to say this right, man. Bill T. Do you think with AI there will be Gem 10s?
Yes, especially for older cards.
So do I. And also, thank you. He says, what it do, FT? Appreciate the content. Can't wait to see you at the Burbank show. I feel the same way. Thank you very much.
Man, that's crazy. Crazy times.
Hey, Jay, I appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah. It was good.
You always glad to be on.
Knowledge. And a lot of times, JD thinks that I'm just complaining. And FD, you say some things sometimes, FD, that's wow. And then Jay comes in here and says the same thing.
No, you FDB guy jumping a.
What we haven't done though, you haven't really interviewed me just as a collector.
No,
that's what we need to do, JD. We're slipping it. We need to get this man on.
I'm telling you, you could spend hours.
Because it's always about either the premiere show, the Burbank show.
Once the Burbank show is over with, we're gonna have you on here as Jay the collector.
Yeah, when you're not stressing over everything. Yeah.
And then we're gonna really get into some thought-provoking things from someone who's been in the hobby for quite a while and how you think and perceive things. So that's gonna be a joy. And then probably JD will hear some stuff too. He's like, I've heard that before. I'm telling you, this dude, he thinks I'm wild, man, but I'm really not.
No, you be saying something. He and then makes it worse than Jay agrees with him too. So I'm just like, oh
man. Like sometimes JD will be like, man, we should take Alonzo Ball. Absolutely nothing. And he's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
I mean, come on, not Alonzo Ball. I'm just saying, like, that's just like be going a little overboard.
Okay.
In a way, my batting average in the short time at prospect hasn't been that bad. There was one player currently playing that I thought, I prospected incorrectly, but he's now trying to show off. Kobe White.
Yeah. I've talked to a few people. I talked to a gentleman at Frankensons who has a ton of Kobe White. And we were talking about that one day. I just believe, Jay, there are players that it's going to take them 4 to even 6 years after 1 year in college for us to know who exactly they are.
5 years is the make or break.
5 years. 5 years. That's what I say. last year was like 2018, and then now it's slowly. But see what Kobe White and everything and Halliburton. I don't want to jump too quick because there's sometimes it's just a phase. You know what I mean? Like Halliburton, I think he's a phase right now. I think maybe in 2 years he'll be like solid. But I want to wait a little bit. I really like. I don't want to start buying impulsively. That's what I learned now. Just be more patient and just let it fizzle a little bit, and see where they're at. Because that's the last thing you want to do. Is buy.
I always think drop back and watch a player's game. What you think? What you got?
So let's put this in record. My 3 sleepers right now: Desmond Bain,
Okay.
Obi Toppin.
Okay.
Okay. Now I have to take out Kobe White because he's starting to get a little recognition. We don't know if that's sustainable. Probably the third person will be Jalen Green.
Man, that's patience right there. You need to, because he has flashes, and then there's this like, man, this dude is frustrating to watch.
They just need to get the right coach to develop them. That's the problem. A lot of the coaches don't develop the young talent.
They do not. They just
look at Monty Williams. Perfect.
Yeah, think how many teams are there in the league? 28, 30?
30.
How many coaches can you name?
I can probably only say like three or four.
That's all I can.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other guys are doing.
Yeah, you need somebody like Popovich or Spoelstra.
Have expectations, teach defense, hold that player accountable in practice, on the court. And I think only certain front offices give these guys this leeway. They can't even, most of them just sitting there. They can't do much.
Yeah.
My best example where he is Victor Oladipo. He rotted in Orlando. He got his chance. Then he moved teams again until he got lost in the shuffle again.
Got injured.
If James Harden stayed with the Thunder, do you think he will be the superstar today?
No.
They have to get their breaks.
Yeah, it's opportunity. It really is based on that. That's a good 3.
I'm telling you, if Toppin goes to the system like a Warriors, he'll do well.
Yeah. You have a 3, FD? Where you go? Oh.
Who's your 3?
I don't know what happened to FD, but mine's I'm starting to like Scotty Barnes a lot. I think he's like Giannis. I think a little bit like Giannis. Probably a little bit more. Scotty Barnes. I want to throw Kobe White in there just because like what's going on, but I'm just gonna wait. And then there's a rookie with the Jazz, George. That's who I'm watching slowly. But yeah, I think Scotty Barnes is somebody that he does everything. But again, it's just the whole marketability and everything that he falls under if people are gonna notice him like that. And he plays in Toronto. So there's a lot of things that that's not favoring him right now. But I still think he's a good player. Oh.
Yeah, we'll see. I look at Bain as Ray Allen.
It's just he just needs the opportunity too with that situation.
Oh, when Ja was out, he was carrying.
Desmond Bain, yeah. But I remember 2 years ago, everybody was going crazy over Desmond Bain at the time. So we'll see.
A lot of people here in LA like Austin Reeves, but he's been exposed with his defense. He can't defend.
No, that whole. But what the Lakers are doing right now is that they're just waiting. They're just crawling to the finish line, and then once playoff time comes, they hope they could turn it on. So we'll see.
I think FD texted me. What happened?
His
internet dropped.
Oh, I don't know how to do it. Let me see.
So let me know if you want to close out.
Well, probably. Well, yeah, because I gotta go back.
Are we rolling with JD?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say we're rolling with JD now.
Oh, yeah, he's right. But yeah, we're just going our 3.
Who's your 3, JD, right now?
I said Scotty Barnes. I like the guy from the Jazz. What's his name? Keenan George.
Okay.
And then told him Kobe White. I kind of like Kobe White, and I kind of like RJ Barrett, but I don't know. We'll see. It's too early right now. But those are my 3.5, I guess.
In today's game, I'm gonna go Shea. Young guys. I do like Kobe White. He surprised me in some ways.
And
but
when you're putting up 30
can't
like
I can't pick Kobe White because Big John talks about Kobe White. Other people talk about Kobe White. So I'm gonna say Shea. You know I like Williams from OKC.
Well,
Oh.
Shea's already there. Shea's already technically an all-star.
Yeah, Jaden Williams is nice too.
I like Jalen Williams a lot.
I'll probably say Giddy then. I'll say Giddy. It's just he just needs to they gotta figure out what they're gonna do with that.
No, probably
I mean,
move.
I don't like when it because there's real quick. I think he's bringing this up. I'm tired of him bringing it up, but
What up?
we
Come
always
on.
talk about if Oklahoma were to have to like move somebody, who would it be? And I'm like always vouching for Josh Giddey, but it looks like he's gonna be the odd man
It's
out.
gonna be Shea.
Oh, you think Shea's gonna move first?
They're gonna get very good value with Shea.
Oh, damn.
If Shea goes somewhere, they're winning rings.
Remember, OKC let go of Harden because
You're right. They let go of all.
If Shea goes somewhere, he's winning rings.
Yeah, I mean, I'm praying. I got stuff on here that's waiting, but
I'm talking my third person. Man, I think I have a 2 and a possible. I don't know who that third person is right now. We can't give out participation awards, so I don't.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
We'll see. 5 years.
We will.
Bane is what? 3 years down.
Who's 3 years left on who?
Bane is on his 3rd year, right?
Yeah.
So I have 2 years for Bane. I have 3 years left for Toppin.
Jay, you ever see Toppin shoot a jump shot?
Yeah, he can stroke a tree. He's probably his defense. He just stands there. He can do help defense, but he can do one-on-one defense. That's why to best utilize him, he needs to be in the system with like the Warriors because he can move around.
Well, he's got to put that pick and roll down and screen somebody.
His career got a lot better. Like he hit lightning when he went to Indiana because they utilized him a little bit way more than they did in New York. They're more up and down in Indiana, so that helped him out. But yeah, if he goes to like a system like the Warriors or something, and sky's the limit from that point on because he don't really have to think. He just goes runs up and down the court and boom.
But Steph only has like 3 more years to get after this thing. So we'll see who they bring now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling they're going to move Klay Thompson to the Lakers because I think that Dad wants him to be a Laker at some point.
We'll see. We'll see if Klay wants to play with LeBron. Smoothness says Shea to the Spurs. That would be horrific.
Yeah.
How many years would it take to get that together?
Who knows at that point?
Pop may not even be there by the time. Hey, Big John says, JD, next time you're in New York City, let me know. I'll drive down and hit a show with you.
All right. I got you, Big John. I got you.
Well, Jay, I really appreciate you being here, sir. I know JD does as well. You come through, you always kicking the door and drop knowledge.
I'm waiting for the one we talked to him just as a collector. That's what I want to wait for. That one, the gems he's gonna drop is gonna be crazy.
Yeah. It might shake some people up. People may be like, oh wow, really?
It might make people squirm
Yeah.
knowing how much I sold certain
I say stuff on a regular that people start squirming. So it just is what it is. I hate the burst.
You're talking to the person who sold PSA 10 Red Prism of Giannis for $150.
That's deep there. What were you thinking of? What were you thinking about Giannis at the time? Nothing, not much. Regular player. Took some years for him to get right.
He was already a good prospect, waiting for the coach to pull the trigger of confidence in him. People were already looking for his cards, but at that time, you find a Giannis Red Prism on the bin for $30, and you gem for grading fee was $10. You grade it for $10, you get a PSA 10. It's $150. Every single person is going to be happy with markup already.
I'm with you.
You know, so you're also talking to the person who I joined a case break before of Prism, and I got the bugs. So I have a lot of Giannis rookie base cards, Prism. And on the first year, he wasn't that big with the bugs. So I put his cards on the trick or treat pegs.
Oh wow. Wow. Damn.
Hey, I'm telling y'all, this stuff is happening right now. We don't know who's who.
Yeah, no, I
There are
agree.
people walking past stuff right now that later they'll be like, "What? I can't believe I saw that in this walk right past."
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh, we got C-Dub in the house. C-Dub, miss you, man. Can't wait to see you.
C-Dub.
Good people. JD, do you have any closing words for Jay?
No, I appreciate everybody's time, and I'll see you guys at Burbank. And don't ask me these questions that Jay's saying that there's going to be.
Please do.
Possibility.
JD,
where's this? Who's that? Where's my table?
Please ask. Because I want to be standing by him and just check it to see that. Hey, but this is the first show of the year, Jay, and I appreciate you being here. Mm-hmm. JD, I'm glad that you're back safely from New York City.
Yeah, I had to tone down my accent a little bit, but it's all right.
What accent was that?
My New York accent. I'm just kidding.
You lived out there for what, 3 years?
No, I just stayed out there every summer. But it is. I didn't want to bring it out too much tonight, so I toned it down a little bit.
Any predictions for Monday's playoff game?
No, I have the Bucks winning.
So you got 2 games. So you got Bucks.
Oh, I got the Bills.
Who the Bills playing?
Steelers.
Oh yeah, Bills winning that. Who the Bucks playing?
The Eagles.
I got the Eagles winning that.
All right, we'll see. Jay, who do you got before we go?
Football? Got no one.
No, he's just gonna watch it.
He stays with that wicked jump shot, man. He's not on that.
But yeah,
we'll be looking for you at the show, man. I will plan to be there Thursday, Friday, probably even Saturday. Going to submit some cards to be graded by Beckett. Then we'll see what else we dive into.
Well, thank you for having me. Again, Burbank Card Show, February 15 to 18. February 15 is just for VIP ticketed attendees, vendors. If you want your VIP tickets, grab them now. It's only limited to 500. I think we're halfway done there. I expect that to sell out within the next 2 weeks, so don't wait. If you're traveling, hotel room blocks are available at the website for the DoubleTree. It's only $199 per night. Take advantage of that because we're not going to add more rooms. If it sells out, it sells out. If you have kids, we have Kids Cardathon. You have to register online on the Kids Cardathon tab to get your 12 or under child to participate in a workshop Saturday 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 sessions. Trade nights is open to public, hosted by VeriSwap for Friday night, hosted by Arena Club for Saturday night. There's going to be a bar hosted by those companies too. Fanatics is hosting a bar for VIP night. PSA and Ultra Pro are sponsoring Kids Cardathon. We have Beckett sponsoring Friday GA admissions. We have eBay sponsoring Saturday admissions. We have Check Out My Card sponsoring Sunday admissions. And we have Kids for Free sponsored by PSA. And vendor badges are going to be sponsored by Golden.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Going down, people.
So it's going to be a fun event. A lot of corporate participation for this show. So let's make sure they get their love when you get to the show. And Tag is sponsoring 3-day pass.
Okay, beautiful.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, JD.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys.
Make sure everybody keep rolling that thing.
All right.
Jay from Burbank signing out. Have a good night.
See you later.